entrepreneurs have to take action in the absence of evidence. Of evidence that you have your personal beliefs, but it's not necessarily evidence, and they have to take action in the absence of having evidence there showing that it's going to work. Something that only an optimistic person would do. And without optimism, an entrepreneur would never start.
No. Ooh, that's better, right, babe?
Yeah!
Yeah. She founded an architectural concrete company.
He founded a $100 million clothing company.
She took the world by storm as a social media star.
He took the world by storm as a famous serial entrepreneur.
Together we started a business.
And had babies.
Now we're figuring out the best ways to do both.
Join us as we learn from other entrepreneurs going through the same life struggles.
As they share their life hacks about success, love, kids.
And everything in between.
A pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity. An optimist sees every opportunity in every difficulty. Quote by Winston Churchill. Pessimism leads to weakness. Optimism to power.
Welcome to the Entrepreneur Parents Pretty and Punk podcast. My name is Dan Caldwell, and I'm here with my beautiful co-host,
Ildiko Ferenczi. Hi, you guys.
And we have a great podcast for you. We're talking about something that I think, you can argue with me. Somebody can not agree with me. I'll argue. I think it's the most important trait of any entrepreneur. I think without this, you're not an entrepreneur. And it's something you just have to have. And if you don't have it, the likelihood of you being successful is probably not good. So,
before we get into it,
before we jump into that, hey guys, we hope you're enjoying today's episode of the Pretty and Punk podcast. And if you are, and you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. It just takes a second. It means so much to us because it really helps the podcast get out there to more listeners like you guys. And if you know anybody it might help and you can send it to them, we really appreciate that too.
We also love and appreciate your reviews. Even the babies look forward to them every day. If you share this episode on social media today, don't forget to tag us. We want to celebrate you because we know it's not easy being a parent in business, and the way that you juggle things makes you a superhero. That's worth a shout out. Together, we have a community of our personal followers as well, and we just want to put it out there. We want to show everybody that this juggle is possible, and you are our family, and we're so proud and grateful to have you a part of this family. So don't forget, all the links are below in the show notes, and thank you again, and let's get back to the show. Okay, friends, the way you think is shaping your business. It's shaping your marriage, your legacy. If you don't get that mindset right, you're going to build something that breaks you. Optimism isn't soft. It is strategy. And legacy-minded parents know how to see the struggle and believe in breakthrough. And you can't. It's impossible to raise powerful kids with a defeated mindset, entitled mindset,
or build
weak
a business
mindset, follower mindset. What you model, they're going to mirror. You're gossiping, you're talking negative about yourself, your children, people around you. They're going to mirror that. This episode isn't about wishful thinking. It's not about, good things are going to happen. It's about building unshakable belief while parenting and building businesses in the chaos and leading through the storm.
And building a marriage. I mean, you got to be optimistic about your marriage in some way. It's not always going to be good. And if you don't have that optimism in all parts of your life, I think people are going to have a really hard time in those parts of their lives that they don't show optimism.
Yeah, and when it comes to marriage, you have to look at it a different way. It's not It's not always to make your life easier. And you can't always just walk out when it doesn't feel comfortable and I can't handle this. This is stressing me out. I can't. No. God gives you that because you haven't worked on that part of yourself, and you have to stay and you have to work on it and you have to push through it. That's the lesson that you were called to work through, so that you could teach your children how to work through those same issues or whatever toxic things that could have happened to you in the past, whatever it is. You can't just walk out. That's what the enemy wants. So as he was saying, that yes, you have to have a mindset, and it has to be prepared while you're young. A lot of people, their parents hide they hide what they're going through. So you have these 18, 19-year-olds that just aren't prepared. They don't understand how to work through things, how to communicate, and how to deal with the true things that are going to come through marriage. You don't just fall in love with someone. You have to have the hard conversations before you start dating. And you're not dating for fun. It's not hookup culture. That there's something so twistedly wrong about this hookup culture that people are led to think that is correct. That is so, you're going to get so lost.
That's a whole nother podcast.
But you're going to get so lost. But you need to have that mindset
I get it.
to understand that when you're talking to someone, you're not there to have a fun or get experience for someone else. That's the wrong way of thinking about it. You're talking to people of the opposite gender to see if they have the same mindset. And you should always be thinking, one day when I get married, don't waste this person's time. Don't play games with her or him. That is just the wrong mindset, period. So you got to teach your children. If someone's going to come and play with you and waste your time, that person's not for you. They need to see the gift that you have within you and be thinking about, who do I want to get married to eventually? Who do I want to have support me eventually? Who do I want to build a family, a legacy, a kingdom with?
I think honestly, being optimistic it's an attractive feature. I mean, it's probably why you were 100%. So attracted to me. But that said, I know it. Here's the thing. Like, you can't, I mean, it's an attractive feature. When you see, I mean, you cannot be an entrepreneur. I say you have a hard time raising kids. If kids don't see that in the household, if they don't see you being that person, I mean, everybody's met somebody who is, have you met that person who like is the Debbie Downer of every situation?
Yes. I won't even go around people like that. I won't even let my kids around
Nobody
them.
wants to be around
I'm so protective.
Who wants to be around that person?
Yeah. I sometimes used to put myself in situations, and I remember I went to a therapist and he said, why are you around these people? There is not one thing that you have in common with them. They make fun of your health. They make fun of your eating. They make fun of you. Do not go around them for your personal safety. Like, a rotten apple is going to rot the bunch. Even if you don't take on those traits and become like them, you're going to feel incredibly uncomfortable around them. It's going to be that toxic energy. I won't even let my kids around those kind of people. I just learned at that point that you really don't need to be around people like that, because it's contagious. And even if you're too strong, your mindset's too strong, you don't even need to soak in a little bit of that negativity, or that you just don't need to be around it. And as a mother, I'm strongly encouraging you don't even take your kids around those kind of people.
And how do you be an entrepreneur? How do you I mean, there's no way, because no entrepreneur is really sane at the heart of things. They're not sane when they think about who wants to go start a business, where you're most likely going to fail and
learn a lesson.
And learn a lesson. I mean, you're going to learn some lessons for sure. But
always.
But most likely your business is not going to make it. All the percentages are against you. You're having a successful relationship while you're running a business is against you. The fact that you can build something that's going to be supportive of a bigger lifestyle, if you want to grow something and build something incredible that can, that can pay for a growing lifestyle and a family, very, very little chance that that's going to happen. Who's sane that goes out and starts something like that?
Right.
I mean, that you're going to be told that everybody's going to tell you that you're crazy, that you don't get to just wake up every single day and be normal. You're stressed out constantly. You're thinking about everything wrong that can happen and trying to be optimistic about it. Nobody sane does that. You have to be optimistic in everything that you do, especially when it comes to business, because you will not get through that storm if you aren't.
Well, and even just the way that you explain it or think about it, because it's not just about staying positive. And when you were mentioning the stressed out part, that's just simply identifying that you're facing some kind of challenge or some kind of problem. Don't let yourself get stressed out about it. I'm so lucky that I was brought up with people with an incredibly strong mindset around me, my mother, my brother. And when things got tough, they didn't let the stress get to them. And sometimes that's what I appreciate now, is that she was not stressed out. She always found a solution, or she always had this incredible circle of people around her that she could lean into and quickly ask for advice. And of course, prayer was number one. But as I'm saying, it's not just about staying positive. It's about developing a legacy-driven mindset, one that sees the fire, walks through it anyway, and raises world changers. That's once you're a parent, while building something that lasts. We're talking about the kind of mindset that doesn't quit when it gets hard.
That's my superpower for sure.
Yeah.
I've been on my back so many times I stopped counting. You have to get back up and keep going.
Yeah. You can't speak defeat over yourself or the negative words. Don't even let the stress come through, because you can figure out the problem. And listen, if you do the deep dive, you talk to your intelligent friends that have been through it. Don't talk to people that haven't built a business, okay? They're just going to stress you out. They're telling you, man, like, can you imagine someone telling us that doesn't have the same mindset as us, telling us that this podcast isn't going to work because it's talking about families and we're not, you got to think about the money and if you talk to people that haven't walked the walk, talked the talk, and have walked through it with flying colors, don't even ask them for advice. Don't even let them give you advice if they haven't had the successful family, had the successful business, and had been able to juggle it all. And hopefully they have, like you say, failed, learned the lessons, because then they have the full insight on how to get where they are. So only talk to those kind of people, because this is not toxic positivity. This is not what we're talking about. It is therapist approved and biblically grounded with the backed by data, this type of mindset.
Backed by Jesus. Hey, listen, have you heard that story about Elon Musk in 2008? He was I'm going to butcher the year probably. I think it's 2008, but
I know what you're getting at. I'm guessing.
Well, I remember hearing it a while back, and Elon, I call it an Elon Musk moment because he's had a bunch of these where he was down to like nothing.
Yeah.
But in 2008, I think he was down to $30 or $40 million, which is still a lot of money, but not a lot of money when you're trying to run multiple companies, especially the size of SpaceX and Tesla. And so he was down to like $30 or $40 million, and he had to decide, if he was going to put all the money into SpaceX, which was failing. He just had 3 crashed rockets, or all the money into Tesla, or split the money between both. And he's so optimistic, looking at these two companies, both having so many problems at the time, trying to figure out how he was going to get out of it, that he needed a contract for SpaceX from NASA, and they just had 3 rockets in a row. Mm-hmm. How do you be optimistic after 3 rockets in a row crash and burn? I mean, you have to be strong in your faith, in your belief of where you are going. You have to believe you're on the right path. And he gambled everything, every penny he had. If he split what he had, it was like $30, $40, $50 million. He split it between the two companies so that they could both stay afloat and have a little more runway to keep going. And if both of them would have failed, I mean, this guy was like living in some house. He was like renting like a 5-bedroom house. He didn't even have it wasn't a mansion. It wasn't some super house, or it was this little regular 5-bedroom home that he was renting. And he was, and he had put every last penny he had into these two companies. And if just one more rocket would have crashed, if Tesla would have been just a little bit off, if they wouldn't have had the sales that they would have got that year, if it wouldn't have turned around at that time with the new models that they had coming out, he'd have been done. We wouldn't be talking about him right now. But he believed so much, and he was so optimistic about his belief in his companies and what he was building, that he rolled the dice to keep going. And that's what you have to have. You have to have that belief and that optimism in your idea, in your purpose, in what you're doing, to keep going, to be an entrepreneur, to be a person who's going to make it. Because if you don't believe you're going to make it, I promise you're going to get exactly what you're thinking you're going to get.
Oh yeah.
That's exactly what's coming. There's a great article in the Harvard Business.
You become what you surround yourself with.
1,000%.
You become what you say you are, and you become what you think you are.
There's this great article in the Harvard Business Review that I read a while back, and I was trying to find it for this podcast. But it's called "The Case for the Optimistic Entrepreneur," and I didn't have all. I couldn't find the exact article, but I found some pieces of the article. But it basically talks about that entrepreneurs have to take action in the absence of evidence. That you have your personal beliefs, but it's not necessarily evidence, and they have to take action in the absence of having evidence there showing that it's going to work. Something that only an optimistic person would do. And without optimism, an entrepreneur would never start. If you don't have at least some optimism in your bones, if it's not a part of you, just a little bit, you'll never start, because you'll never become an entrepreneur. So all those people that you hear that never start that business, that just talk about it for their entire life, those people usually don't have enough optimism to start, because there will be no evidence most of the time. You might think, you might have a hope, you might feel it in your bones, but there's not going to be that real evidence there, because when you show people, I remember when we told people we were going to start a t-shirt company based around mixed martial arts, there was no evidence. It was illegal in almost every state in the country. It was not blowing up or becoming huge. It was not, it wasn't necessarily ubiquitous around the country. It was only legal in 2 states. And when people watched it, they saw it failing. For the most part, that you had Senator McCain going on there calling it human cockfighting. Oh. And it was just not...
it made me think of those boys' trips. What's going on?
It was going to fail. It was supposed to fail. And if it wasn't... Nobody would have said, oh yeah, that's a great idea. You should go do that. Go quit your perfectly good cop job to go start a t-shirt company in a failing sport that's never going to happen. That's what they were thinking. That's what anybody would say if I asked them. That's why you don't ask people if it's a good idea.
Well, especially if they're...
You have this belief inside of you, this optimism inside of you that says, this is a good idea. I see something that nobody else sees. I remember when I, early on, there was this guy who had some money and he was going to invest into Tap Out. And we were going to give him a third of the company for $500,000. And he said he was going to do it. And we'd been talking for several months, and I had the contract ready to go. I'd given him a business plan, showed him the road to profitability, to how the company was going to explode and become one of the largest clothing companies in the world. And I'd given him this business plan. It was basically, all guesses. But I'd showed him this, and he said, "Okay, let's do it." And a couple months later, we were supposed to meet in this restaurant, and he met me there with his attorney. And his attorney basically, caught me out of left field, just told me that he didn't see any way that this was going to be successful. He didn't think that there was any chance that we could make it. And I had went there with the idea in mind that I was coming to pick up a check. A $500,000 check to deposit into our bank account. Instead, I got this attorney telling me that he thinks there's no chance we're going to make it, and that's okay. And it was probably the best thing that ever happened to me. And the only reason that happened is because that dream, that vision wasn't meant for them. They weren't going to see it. They didn't have the optimism that I had. They didn't have the belief that I had in the company. And that's why it didn't work out. And it worked out. And I think in many cases, that works out for the best.
Listen up, friends. You don't want to miss this one. It may be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Are you an entrepreneur, a parent, or someone building something that truly matters? Well, then you need to hear this. This is your invitation to step into the spotlight on one of Apple's top 10 podcasts, the Entrepreneur Parent Pretty and Punk podcast. I'm Ildiko Ferenczi, and alongside my husband, Dan Caldwell, we host conversations that most families are too afraid to have. From building a legacy to balancing marriage, parenting, and business, the struggles, the juggles, and the breakthroughs, this is where life meets real impact. With thousands of downloads, a loyal audience of parents, and legacy-driven couples, this is more than exposure. It's a loyal connection. You'll walk away with a high-impact feature episode, pro content clips to elevate your brand, and credibility standing beside voices that are shaping the next generation. Your story could be the light someone's praying for in their darkest moment. If you're building something that truly matters, you're not just invited, you're needed. Apply now. Spots are limited. If you feel that tug on your heart, don't wait. Message us right now at contact@prettyandpunk.com. That's contact@prettyandpunk.com.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with the whole mindset of you believing in yourself. And I know that was like your single journey. And then once you become a parent, that comes at you even harder, because a lot of people talk about how they get lost in motherhood and fatherhood while building business and trying not to lose yourself in the chaos. And I hate that people are talking. I mean, I appreciate it because everybody has a different experience, but I feel like if you have that mindset, you don't have to lose yourself in the chaos. You just understand that this is a season. It's going to be hard. Next year is going to be a different season, and you're going to have to just deal with the things that are coming your way. And really, truly, don't fall into that woe is me type of of attitude that's out there and how hard marriage is. And you have to find the nuggets. You have to find the gold, because otherwise you're going to get lost in the wrong mindset when it comes to building that family and building the business at the same time. It's going to drag you down to a place where when you're 82, you're going to look back and you're going to be so mad that you got pulled into this idea how bad everything is, how hard everything is. And even husbands get lost in that idea of, I was neglected while the babies were young, so I had to go have an affair because I was lonely. No, you should have been there being with your wife
that wasn't
and
an
your
example
children.
Of me, just so everybody.
No. I'm just saying that this is something.
That wasn't me.
No,
wasn't me.
No, I'm just saying that
Just
this
wanted to
is
put
what
that out
our gentlemen are facing today. They're getting tricked into this 2 minutes of pleasure or sending out a message they never should send out, especially on social media or Tinder or whatever.
You scroll through these videos and you
No, but it's
stuff.
true.
You hear this stuff.
No, I'm talking about
she
what's
gets
happening.
So mad.
No, I'm
She
talking
gets so
about
mad.
what's
Why
happening.
are these guys throwing it all away?
Well, wouldn't you be?
No, I mean, I get
it's
it.
Awesome.
I get it.
Sure,
I
the
get
women
it.
get
I get
everything, and then they remarry. But these poor guys, these poor guys, I mean, even my brother. I remember.
Done.
But listen, even my brother. I remember him at his dance recital. Okay, and I remember father trying to take a picture with him. He pushed him out of the way and he grabbed my mom's hand and he pulled her in and he said, Mommy, I know exactly how hard you worked for me and Ildiko, and you're the one that's going to shine in the pictures. I owe everything to you because you were the one that was here for me. Nobody else. You drove me to every dance lesson. You drove me to karate. You drove me to football. You drove me to lacrosse. Plus she ran a business. And I remember thinking this when I got married. I remember thinking, like, what am I going to do? Because I know David mentioned something about, he was trying to explain, like, how would you think Mommy would feel if you had Dad walk you down the aisle? It would be, a stab in the back to her. And I didn't really think of it. I was so young. I never really thought about it that way. But when I was getting married, I still asked him to come. Well, divine intervention, you're never going to believe this. It was hard because I was always the one reaching out. And I said, will you walk me down the aisle? And he agreed to it. But then there was a big fire on the farm. And he told me, I think the night before, I can't because there's a fire. Divine intervention. My brother's angel up there. I don't know. Did he start the fire? But my mom walked me down the aisle. My mom. And anyway, sadly, I didn't do enough research on marriage, and that marriage did fall apart and everything fell into place, and I met my husband now, and I do have all the lessons. I know where things went wrong, but I'm just saying that I'll never forget that conversation with my brother. And I hate it because it was an attorney, a divorce attorney, that was talking about that sometimes you feel so sorry for yourself when your wife really needs your attention. She's got the mom bun. This is just a season. Yes, we have the mom bun. We have the messy clothes. We have all this stuff going on. But as mothers, we're going through stuff now. We need that compassion from our husbands. Yes, you're not getting as much attention, and we have to work back to that. But it doesn't mean throw everything away and lose everything for a little bit of pleasure and attention. And that goes both ways. I remember someone sharing the story of the lonely wife that went back to work and she had an affair and she had to tell her husband that she's now pregnant with someone else's child.
Jeez,
and that was
almighty.
hard, but they had to somehow work through that. But these things are happening. Why? Because potentially the mindset and the conversations weren't had and shared with the kids. There is going to be seasons, and don't get pulled into the negativity of it. Find the beauty of it. Find the beauty of, we may not be as physical as we were before the children, but we have to find, is it the hand holding? Is it the eye contact? Is it me giving her attention when I really want to be in my phone, but I'm going to fight it? Or vice versa, just pulling you into the world and say, let's work together. I know you're putting your arms up because you've never changed a diaper in the middle of the night, which I should have been more persistent. He's like, what are you talking about? But these are the things that women and men go through. This is we're in the struggle and the juggle. We're bootstrapping parenthood. I've made it very easy for you, yes. And if I could go back, you'd be waking up in the middle of the night with me.
I'm 100% with you. And look, I was willing to jump up anytime in the middle of the night.
I couldn't wake you up. And I really know now,
if you would have had an electric shocker or something, I would have 100%
I
woke up.
realized that he wasn't sleeping. He was just pretending because he didn't watch it.
If you act like you're asleep, you definitely won't get woke up.
Oh my
No, I was honestly asleep. Listen, here, what are some of the things that we can do with our kids to breed optimism?
Okay, let's
And what are some things we do with our kids?
Let's start where I understood how powerful that mindset was for me growing up. So for me, as soon as I found out I was pregnant, I would speak positively, pray positively, and just share stories with my baby in my belly. And you would too, but me more so. I think
Hey,
you don't
I knew the
wait
importance
for
of this too.
Don't wait
One of
for
our
the
first
babies to
dates
come
was
out.
Tony Robbins. I mean, I'm telling you, like, I'm trying to,
all
I know it's an important thing. It's an important thing in your relationship. You need your
Yes.
wife thinking like this. If you're going to be battling every conversation,
You need to battle together.
You need to be battling together, not against each other.
Yes.
And that is going to be a constant battle if you guys aren't on the same side of history here.
Exactly.
And so if your wife's not thinking that way, I mean, it's all about picking a partner too. If your wife's not thinking that way, if your husband's not thinking that way, you guys are not going to work well together, especially granted, if you guys don't have those types of aspirations, then possibly it works together. You'll figure it out. But if you have any aspiration to be an entrepreneur or build something together as entrepreneurs or as a family, you're gonna have a lot of friction trying to do that. If one side or the other is too pessimistic, if they don't have an optimistic bone in their body. Not that some of that's not good, a little bit.
Right.
But, I always enjoy having that back and forth. Both of us can be kind of, somebody can go, well, what about this? I don't know if that'll work if you can't do this. You need people to point out, but those are small decisions. In the bigger picture, you need to be optimistic together. Don't you agree?
Before you reach for that coffee, consider this. What if the energy boost you're looking for isn't in your cup, but in your cells? I challenge you to swap your morning coffee for Shilajit by Symbiotica. And here's what can happen. No crash, no jitters, just clean, sustained energy, plus mental clarity and trace minerals that our bodies actually need. That are actually starving for, to be honest. This isn't just a supplement. It's an ancient adaptogen sourced from the Himalayas that supports mitochondrial function, stamina, and overall vitality. Your coffee never did that. Okay, let's just be honest. Try it for a week and tell me your body doesn't thank you. Symbiotica's Shilajit is next level wellness, and honestly, you may never go back to drinking coffee. Click the link below down in the bio and get your Shilajit today.
Yeah, 100%. And And the thing is that the enemy isn't always on the outside of the house. It's sometimes the voice in your own head. So that's why you have to get aligned with your whole family and create those changes of the mindset. But here, let's just move on to the top tactical steps that we can start today. I think it needs to start with the daily gratitude reset and include your children in this. When you wake up in the morning, what are you grateful for? And for us, we just talk about everything that comes to mind because some days it changes. I was just talking to Daniel. We've been doing this all his life, all Destiny's life. We'll talk about the things that we're most grateful for. Some days it's less things. Some days it's things we haven't really thought about. But you could be going through the fire. Even when we were going through loss and a really hard time, we would wake up in the morning and we would do our gratitude. Well, obviously our prayers first, then gratitudes, and then I am who God says I am. We have those affirmations, not woo-woo, but it's in the Bible. I am. And Jesus talks about it, and then you just declare who you are in the book, good book. It tells you exactly.
And we need our kids to believe they can do anything.
Yeah.
And part of that comes from showing them that we're not scared to start something, to, create something, to have an idea, to have ideas. We have an idea page, I guess you could call it, of just business ideas that we may not start today, but sometime in the future we're going to start. Or we might start or we might not start, but some ideas that we have that we just write down. And we tell Daniel and Destiny that we may never start these businesses, but this one we might, or that one we might, but we write them down because we have dreams like that, and they should too.
Yeah, and our community, our most important community is our family, the family that we built. So the other tactic that we do is we rewire together with people who speak life. If you're not married and you're just listening to this podcast, because we have a lot of people that aren't quite married yet, but they want to understand how to handle the journey once they find the one and they get married, then you are supposed to surround yourself in a community with people who speak life. Do not surround yourself with the negative ones, please, because it will pull you down. And the number one mindset habit that changed our parenting and business forever, I think, is that habit of getting into prayer. I think that, or I know for our family, that's made the biggest difference, is praying together as a family. And I know sometimes you're really busy, and especially right now, you can't always join us. But when we do, I can tell.
Well, we definitely don't go a night without praying. I sometimes I'm not here.
No, I'll never miss.
I'll pray. I'm praying on my own.
I've never not missed.
Never not missed a
prayer. Especially after getting pregnant, I just never missed, because number one, I know my duty as a parent, and I know. You can't miss. Once you understand what it means to become a parent biblically, like you can't. After everything, we just passed Easter, and understanding all those sacrifices, really prayer in the morning and the night, and sometimes during the day. It's just, it's an honor for me. And I can't, because I understand that more than anything, more than mindset, more than showing them how to make money, that is the most valuable tool that I can show them, that we can show them as parents.
Guys.
Did you want to?
No, I just wanted to say that, optimism isn't fluff. It's the stuff, it's the fuel that entrepreneurs, that parents should have in their lives, that kids need. They need that optimism. They have to believe in something bigger. They have to believe in themselves. And we got to, in every way, like I still said at the top of the show, I said, I believe it's the most important ingredient in an entrepreneur and possibly a parent, and we have to pass that along.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys are doing that in your family. I hope that's something that you're consciously thinking about in your life. Because if you don't build your life around that, you're not going to be purposeful in your implementation in your daily life and in your kids' lives and in your marriage. So I hope you guys are implementing that into your family, implementing it into your life, and it should be a part of you in everything that you do.
Yes, we're built. Yes. Oh, sorry. Keep finishing.
And that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Do you have anything else?
I think I just wanted to end with the thought that came to me that we're not building, we're building something deeper than just dollars. We're building generational resilience. We're restoring marriages, and we're raising leaders, right? Because even when we have those obstacles or those things come into our marriage, we need to restore it. That is our job. How can you figure out how to fix it? How can you figure out how to fix your business? And how can you realign your children when they go off track? We're not there yet, but maybe in the future there could be moments where they get off track, and hopefully not. Hopefully we have all the building blocks while they're young, and that's the thing. That's why it takes two. It takes two to raise these incredible, resilient children with a mindset that can handle anything. God bless you guys. Thank you for joining us, and we just love and appreciate this community, and we're so grateful for all of you. God bless you guys. Have the best week, and we can't wait to see you next week, friends.
And we'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening to this week's Entrepreneur Parents Pretty and Punk podcast. We hope you got something really good from this podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe. Leave 5 stars and a kind review. We love you. God bless all of you. And don't forget to be optimistic. We'll see you next week. God bless. Thank you for listening this week. Don't forget to share this with your friend or 10 of them. Please leave a review and 5 stars, because that helps the show get to people who need it. God bless. See you next time.